How is it, everyone? And welcome to your first class math tutorials. And in this video, we've got a continuation on factorization. And the question is saying factorize the following, which is 6n squared minus 7n minus 3. And in the previous videos, I've laid out the steps that you are supposed to use to find, to factorize. And the first step, okay, before we even go to the first step, you must always bear in mind that a quadratic expression is basically in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the general form for a quadratic expression or a quadratic equation. The highest power of the existing variable must be 2. Anything that is greater or less than 2 is not a quadratic expression. And for us to factorize the quadratic expression, the first step is to find the product, find the product of the first term and the last term. Find the product of the first and last term. And in this scenario, if we say 6n squared multiplied by negative 3, we are going to get a negative 18n squared. This is the product that we want and the first step that we are supposed to do. And the second step is to find two factors. Find two factors such that when you multiply those factors, you get negative 18n squared. And when you add the very same factors, you are going to get the middle term, which is negative 7n. And in the previous videos, I've also mentioned that for you to find these factors easily, you must just list the factors of the existing terms. So here, if we say minus 7, we are going to have 1 and 7. This is going to be a positive or negative, a positive or negative, the factors of 7. And then on 8 minus 18, if we list the factors, we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. And remember, these are going to be a positive or negative numbers. And out of these numbers, that is where you are going to find two numbers, such that when you multiply them, you get a negative 18n squared. And when you add those numbers, you get a negative 7n. And out of these numbers, if we take minus 9 and a positive 2, these are factors that are going to give us the result that we want, which is, if we say minus 9 multiplied by positive 2, we're going to get a negative 18. And if we say minus 9 plus 2, we're going to get minus 7, which gives us the next step, which is to replace the middle term with these factors that we have found. So here we are going to write the quadratic expression as 6n squared. Take those two factors, minus 9n plus 2n minus 3. This is simply rewriting the quadratic expression, because if we say minus 9n plus 2n, we are going to get negative 7n. So this is another way of writing this quadratic expression. But the reason why we are substituting the middle term with these two factors is such that we are able to factorize between these two brackets and the next two brackets. So on these two terms, we are going to factor out what is common in these two terms, and you are going to find out that it's 3n. And in the bracket, we are going to have 2n minus 3, such that when you say 3n multiplied by 2n, you're going to get 6n squared. And if you say 3n multiplied by negative 3, you're going to get negative 9n. And this bracket is supposed to be the same 2n minus 3 after we factor out something from these two terms. So on these two terms, we are going to factor out a positive 1, such that when we say a positive 1 multiplied by 2n, we get a 2n. Positive 1 multiplied by a negative 3, we get a negative 3. And then after that, we combine these terms outside the bracket and take one of the brackets, which is 3n plus 1, 2n minus 3. So this is going to be our solution after factorizing the above quadratic expression.